type of drawing is just a process of correcting observed mistakes. It's almost like a game of spot the difference. Visual measuring is a very empowering tool, but learning to see flat geometric shapes is the key to drawing, not visual measuring. Every drawing begins with a light sketch, utilizing your best guess at drawing what you see. These visual measuring techniques are best used for verification, not construction. So this is how we start ratios and proportions. Pay attention to the diagram here. You're going to look at the still life. You're going to make sure your pencil is held perpendicular to the floor while your dominant arm is extended with your elbow locked. And you're going to close your non-dominant eye. This is going to be a consistent thing that we do in our posture. So when we're doing this and looking at the still life, you're going to find your short length. You're going to align your pencil point with one end of the short length and align your thumb with the other end of the short length. Next, you'll leave your thumb on the pencil to maintain the short length that you've already found, but then align the short length of the pencil to the base of the longer length and move the short length along the longer length and count how many short lengths will fit into that longer length. That's the ratio. That's the relationship we're looking for. So, when looking at the still life, you're going to see how many of the shorter lengths fits into the longer length. And once you've figured that out, you're going to then go to your drawing and you're going to check and see how many of those shorter lengths fit into the longer length on your drawing.
Recording.
All right, so I'm going to try to compare this length, which was going to be the short length, and see how many of that short length fits into the longer length of that peanut looking shape. So I've already got it sketched out here, but I'm gonna, arm extended, elbow locked, leaning forward just like in the descriptions. I'm going to find that length in my pencil. So I've got the tip of it lined up at the top of that short length, my thumbs along with the bottom. And now since I have that, I'm going to take it and begin to measure on the still life how many of those fit. So 1, 2, it looks like 2.5. So that means one of these fits in 2.5 times of this length. So now I got to turn to my drawing, and with this sketch, we're going to see now I've captured the length of the short distance. I'm going to turn it up here and see how it fits. So that's 1, 2. All right, it looks like it's more like 2 2/3 or something. So it really needs to stop more around here if I'm going to keep that length. So now I know that however I'm drawing this, it needs to be a little bit shorter. And that's ratio and proportions. So what we need to remember here is that this is about ratios and proportions, is about the relationship between two lengths within the observed reference, and then that relationship must be found to be true between the two drawn lengths on your paper. So how many of the shorter length fits into the longer length? Next, how to start plotting angles. Notice we're going to have the same posture here, but we're going to align the length of your pencil between 2 points of the within the reference or still life. Next, once you got to keep your wrist still and slowly rotate your torso and arm away from the reference and toward your drawing. Check the angle of your pencil against the angle in your drawing to see if they match. And of course, edit your drawing if the angles do not match. So you can see here on the screen on the left, we've aligned the edge of our pencil up to mimic the angle between the 2 points that we're looking for. And we need to ask, is our drawn angle steeper or shallower than the observed angle, and of course we compare that angle to our drawing to find that out.
Recording.
It's recording? Okay. So arms extended, elbow locked, one eye closed. I'm going to be observing the length of my pencil here and lining up the edge of it with the between the 2 points that I'm referencing. Those 2 points are going to be here and there, and I want to make sure that the same thing is going on here. So I've got that lined up, and now without moving, like all of this, I've only rotated my wrist in order to line that up. I haven't done anything this way or that way. You want to keep the pencil parallel with the floor, but you want to rotate the wrist until the edge of the pencil or side of the pencil lines up between those 2 points and equals that angle. And then I'm going to rotate my torso very carefully and check it against what I have on the paper already, and make any corrections if necessary. And what it looked like to me is that this line is really supposed to be right here, not there. I'm going to double check it again because I always do it more than once to make sure it's accurate. Yeah. So this is now the true line, not that one. What you want to remember is that this is about transferring an exact angle from the observed reference to its counterpart in your drawing. So is your drawn angle steeper or shallower than the observed angle? Scaling. So how we're going to start this is looking at the reference. You want to have your pencil held perpendicular to the floor. The pencil point, you need that to be aligned with the top end of the entire height of whatever you're observing, and then the pencil eraser aligned with the bottom end of the entire height of whatever you're observing. You're going to use your free hand to place a finger on the pencil according to the part of the drawing you want to differentiate. So in this example here, between the top of the head and the bottom of the feet, we're differentiating where the shoulder is, so we're putting our finger there. Next, you're going to keep your pencil perpendicular to the floor and your finger on the pencil, and then slowly bring your arm away from the reference and toward your drawing. Adjust the distance of your pencil to your face until the tip and bottom of the pencil match the top and bottom of the entire height that you're looking at in the drawing. Mark your drawing where your finger points to the desired point of differentiation. So you can see here, I wanted to find out where the middle of the curve of this shape was. So I scaled that on the still life, and then I brought that over to my drawing to make sure that that point of the curve was in the same distance between the top and the bottom of that shape.
Recording.
Okay, so I want to figure out, based off of the length of this, I want to figure out where the middle of this curve is going to be. So, from where I'm at, I'm gonna, oh dear, my pencil is too big. So what I'm gonna do is, I guess I'm just going to have to shrink the size of it. So I can't use the bottom of my pencil for this one. I've got to use my thumb to grab it because it's too small of a distance. Okay, but now I've got that. My thumb is acting as the bottom of the pencil now. And then I'm going to take my other hand and I'm going to point to where the middle of this is. And now I know where the middle of that curve is going to be. And I want to keep this, and I'm going to bring it over to my drawing and adjust the pencil's distance from my face until the tip of my pencil and my thumb are in the corresponding places they're supposed to be. And hey, that's exactly right. I don't have to change that one. That one worked out. So that's it. What we want to remember here This is about transferring an exact proportion from the observed reference to its counterpart in your drawing. Your finger divides the pencil into two lengths. Adjusting the distance of the pencil to your face scales the measurement to your drawing. Bonus technique, triangulation. How do we start this? We're going to find a relevant and accurate length within your drawing whose endpoints will create a triangle with the point you're trying to find. While looking at the corresponding length in the reference, plot an angle from one end of the length to the point you desire to find and lightly draw this angle on your paper. Then plot an angle from the other end of the length to the point you desire to find and lightly draw this angle on your paper. If the two angles are accurately plotted, they will reveal the point you are searching for wherever the two angles intersect one another.
Recording.
Okay, so I'm going to use this line here that we've already established as like secure and right and everything. I'm going to use that as my constant. So I've got 1 point here, 1 point here, and the third point that I want to verify, I'm going to aim at this far corner over here. So I want to know if this is true. So I've got to plot an angle from here to there and then here to there and see if they cross. So I'm going to start with the bottom angle here. Plotting that just like we talked about earlier. And slowly coming over, I'm going to line it up at that base point here. And then I'm going to find a point in my reference to put my thumb on in order to make a mark so I can connect those 2 points in order to get the angle going. And already I can see that my point's going to be off. I don't know how far off it is, but it's going to be somewhere on this line. So now I'm going to do the same thing and look for the angle from the top and plot that. Oh boy, okay. Now I've got to connect that. Alright, so it looks like where they cross is really right there. So that's not too terribly off, but it's not that. So this changes things. So now this is going to come through here, this ends here, and we move forward.